Hey, what's up, crowd? It has been a while since I've sat down here and kind of just took a minute to discuss everything. 6 months exactly since I made that last video. When I first started off, my first set of videos, I was talking about branding. And I still talk about branding, but I do that more short form just because it's kind of easier to talk about that in different ways with quick snippets, and then I can remix it and talk about it in another way, but very, very similar. And then I switched up and I started doing like just more like loose vlogs. And that was pretty cool too, because I was just really just talking off the cuff, whatever I just kind of had on my mind. And I would just find a nice secluded spot and just record my thoughts. I tried actually doing that today. I went out and had this sequence all in my head, but it was cars zipping by, planes overhead. The wind was just howling. I decided to come back in and sit down here and just make it easy for myself. So just some updates. I'll let you guys know what's been going on. At the end of last year, I got so frustrated with myself. When I graduated from school in graphic design, there was never any classes in branding and positioning for like your own kind of studio or to work freelance. And as I got more and more into my freelance, I was kind of just taking each job and assessing not necessarily my value, but my time. I was pricing everything by my time. And that ended up turning me into the equivalent of a burger joint. It was like, have it your way. And I really ended up like, I did successfully in my business, but I could have done so much better if I had been really adamant about having a pricing structure. So it culminated at the end of last year where I was doing graphic design projects based off of my time. And when that included videography and art direction and everything, and I saw that I was just undercutting myself just back and forth, I was like, hey, I can't do this anymore. So at that moment when I decided that, I came across a video from a gentleman named Pete who runs a program called the Brand Mastery Accelerator. I joined the first part of that, which was called the Content Decline Challenge. And in that, I learned so much about all the different tools and the mindset that we brand designers have to have. And so I actually joined the full-on program at the end of last year. So this is now my 4th month officially into the program. And I've learned a lot about language for myself and positioning my services and my business in the right way. And learning that talking about money last instead of upfront is never a good way to start off a conversation with a potential client. You really need to just be like, great, you want this, you want that, what's your budget? And if it's not in the realm that I need it, we need to end this call, or we need to find some other way that we can work together. But that silly dance that I was doing with the clients of just kind of like swooning them and just letting them know my experience and everything, and then trying to hit them with a price in the end was always backfiring. So I joined this program not to change how I produce work for the clients, but the mindset of how I go in there with, this is the price, this is how long it's going to take, this is what I need from you, and these are the deliverables. Thank you, have a nice day. So that's been with that. It's still ongoing. I'm learning so much. I'm meeting great new people. And every week I'm just absorbing all that knowledge and letting it just marinate. And little by little, I'm implementing tiny bits of that knowledge into my practice to try to hopefully turn things around. Because I know that everyone's business right now is affected with everything that's going around in the world. It's so crazy. And this is the first time in my entire career that I've seen such a downturn. It doesn't matter what level you're at in your career, whether you're a junior, senior, art director, creative director, senior creative director. it has just plateaued. And so what I'm trying to do right now is tell more of my stories and not just show off polished work, but really talk about how the client approached me and how I went from A to B and ultimately what I helped them with in their business. So that's the goal of the BMA program and things like that. On the other side of my business, I was always shooting professional commercial photography for my clients. So after I would design their SKUs, they would also contract me to shoot the finished items. So I was doing creative flat lays, high-res pack shots, any other kind of assets that they needed. But this year it has completely also come to a standstill. And that's another thing. It's like, wow, I've never seen that before either. But I'm not fretting it. I was seeing the signs that things were slowing down a couple of years ago. And I knew this was going to kind of happen. And I never really marketed my photography separately from my graphic design. So as the graphic design started to come to a plateau, my photography did as well. So it's like, what can I say? I was great at producing art, but I was really bad at marketing. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are in that same boat. But I'm not fretting about it. Again, I'm trying to look for that silver lining and waiting to see if this is just a big dip and will it come back up. Also, what I did last year was I embarked on a 1-year project, personal project. When I first started shooting photography, I used to actually use these older Minolta lenses. I have a collection of these and I've always loved the construction of these. This is what I call engineering beauty right here. I used to find these lenses at thrift stores for like $5 and such. No one was wanting these Minolta workhorse, but they were the ones that I could afford. So I adapted some to my S5 and I wanted to recreate the look of the images that you find in their product brochures or their camera operating brochures. You know what I'm talking about. It's like the shots they have of someone jet skiing or riding in a hot air balloon or running through a sprinkler or something like that. So I wanted to shoot my Minolta memories in ways that I see in my daily life. And I ended up getting some really, really cool images, but it was tough as hell to have that kind of focus. I was always going around just taking snaps and using my camera to document things, right? Patterns or shadows, colors that I would see, and they would turn out beautiful. But this is the first time I was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to create intentional works of art. And oh, that broke me at the end of the year. It burned me out. I said I got some great images, but after I finished, I did not want to pick up a camera again. And it took me just last week to get over it. I'm back to kind of just using my smaller Lumix cameras that I could just go around and I could just shoot something real cool and like that. So it's great to have a project like that when you're all focused, but having that amount of intentional focus, it killed the spontaneity that I had always been accustomed to. So that was a learning lesson for me. There's definitely room for both. When I want to create something with that intent, I'll reach for the Minolta lenses. And when I want to just casually have a camera with me, just capturing moments with my family and such, Lumix all the way. Like, well, Micro Four Thirds all the way. And the last thing I just want to update you guys with is just my fitness classes. I'm still teaching fitness classes. I left one of the gyms that I was teaching Zumba and core conditioning and strength training at. So now I'm at 2 other gyms. I'm just teaching dance fitness. But eventually I will pick up core conditioning again because I definitely like the gains that I had from resistance training. But I'm just settling into these newer gyms and building up that community. And I've subbed maybe 1-2 classes for strength training. So I do plan on getting that again, but I got to find a balance between the fitness classes, family obligations and such, and trying to build up my business again. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to share those quick updates with you guys. I know everyone's life is going through a big reset and update, and I do wish you guys the best. And if you have reached some kind of hill and it's knocked you down, just let's climb it and let's get back up to a plateau that we can walk on until we get to another part and we have to climb that again. I think that's just what life is. We're just experiencing something that the world has experienced over and over again. It's just kind of like for us right now, it's just hitting us. So again, I wish you guys the best and look for another video from me soon. All right, until then, peace out. Thanks a lot for listening.